This is DeVone Boggan, and this is the Break It Down Show.
And now, the Break It Down Show with Jon and Pete.
Boy, have we got a doozy for you this week.
I love these shows. I think it's the best work we've done when you combine all of the programming together. It's fantastic.
DeVone Boggan, just to summarize, actually, if you want the long form, and it's absolutely worth it, go back and listen to shows number 69 and 70,
Okay.
parts 1 and 2 of DeVone Boggan. He'll tell you about his program, which is called Advanced Peace.
Right, for the Office of Neighborhood Safety in Richmond.
Where he went into Richmond, California, which had one of the most horrendous murder rates per capita in the United States. And he literally pulled together the work of some young men to make changes and cut the murder rate substantially, remarkably.
Yeah, and repeated and sustained that cut murder rate. Basically said, give me the worst people you have in this town that are causing the most violence, and let's get those guys to make different choices, to put down the gun.
Yeah. Never ask them, actually, to put down the gun.
Right. They just said, let's give you some positive life choices. Let's teach you. Let's really build a family around you. And that's what this program is about.
So you're going to hear from two of the fellows, two of the graduates of the program.
LeVon and Renel.
And they're going to tell you some of their story, and you're going to love it. Terrific. Last time you said something slightly different. So every time we bring you on here, you give us a little different pitch.
Yeah, I was going to rap. But...
It never gets stale.
Oh, we might get a rap out of him. Because we're going to do two of these, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the first one we're going to introduce, first of all, straighten my language, my definitions out.
Yeah.
What do we name what James is?
James is a neighborhood change agent.
He's a change agent.
But he is also facilitating the role of program coordinator over our street outreach strategy.
Okay.
Sam is also a neighborhood change agent, but he facilitates the role of program coordinator over our fellowship program.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
So these are two of our most senior
Gotcha.
level guys in the organization.
And as a senior level change agent,
Yeah.
they're still boots on the ground.
Oh,
However,
Yes.
they take a leadership role in a particular facet
Absolutely.
of what the program
That's
does.
exactly right, John.
So, and then the graduates of the program.
Yeah, so today you have LeVon and Renel. Both are graduates, past fellows, and what we call them now are ambassadors. So they are ONS ambassadors. And what an ambassador is someone who has graduated the fellowship. And what that means is that they have achieved a great deal of the goals and objectives outlined in their life maps.
Okay.
By the time they graduate. And they graduate at different times, some at 18 months because that's the minimum time frame. Others much longer than that. Renel has been with us a longer time. But an ambassador means that, yes, I have completed my fellowship and I've denounced gun violence as a way of handling conflict. And I am willing and able and even interested and committed to helping move the fellowship forward. So these guys help us keep the fellowship relevant and help us to ensure that we are engaging the right guys and that we're doing the right kinds of things with those guys.
Wow. The work is never done.
The work is never done. In fact, they'll tell you, I'm sure, it really is it's a family.
Yeah.
And we've got family members negotiating the environment, the house, all of the time.
Yeah.
And like a family, man, we are forever bound to one another, and that's how we see these young men. And I know most of them see us the same way.
Your family.
We're family.
Yeah.
It's family. I mean, at the end of the day, we have a slogan, and I'm sure you may hear it: once a fellow, always a fellow.
Sure.
You graduate, you do whatever that means after you graduate, but you are a fellow and a part of this family all of the time. So, for example, I'm 49 years old. I've been out of my dad's house for 30 years. And every once in a while, my father will give me an envelope and say, hey, put that somewhere. Do something special with that. And I open the envelope and I go, Dad, you don't have to do this, man. I'm a grown-ass man. Right? But I'm also like, damn, this is great.
Yeah. Hey, I get to go do something special.
Right. I get to go do something special. So, I have fellows, past fellows, family members, young men that I would consider like sons. I'll get a call and say, hey, and this is a real life example. I'm interested in going overseas, boss man, and studying abroad during the summer. I'm in college at a university here in the States and got this opportunity to go and study abroad over the summer and get an internship as a part of that opportunity. But I'm going to need some resources, some help to do it.
Yeah.
And
let me stop for a second though. What an aspiration.
Oh, it's happening.
Yeah.
It's actually happening. So, Eric Welch is the young man I'm talking about, and I'm sure he wouldn't mind me saying it, but Eric is at Florida A&M, undergrad, doing really well. And
he would like to study abroad.
Yeah. And so he had entered this program. He's to go to London and have an internship and study. It was going to be government and law was the course of study. And because of something in his past, he wasn't able to get the required visa in London to work.
Right.
But the program said, oh, no worries. We've got an opportunity for you in Ecuador.
Wow.
And probably a better opportunity.
Right.
Yeah.
Where he can do both. And so, again, family comes home and says, hey, guys, I need some help. I know I'm a graduate of the program, but I'm just letting you know this is something I'm interested in and committed in doing. And, like a father, like a family, like uncles, well, if we can do it, why not do it?
Right.
I mean, if we can do it.
That's what I want my daughter to do. I want her to try to do a summer or a semester abroad as a sophomore in college.
Yeah.
And I'm there to guide her how to, and if she chooses to do it, then I'm behind it, and if she doesn't want to, that's great, but I'm going to help her figure out how to make it happen.
Right. This is the same guy that sends me a note his freshman year at Florida A&M says, I'm getting ready to apply to be a White House fellow. Will you write me a letter of recommendation? I went, hell yeah.
Of course I will.
Of course. But I'm like, this is Eric from Richmond.
Right.
Yes.
I know this dude.
It's not Eric from Richmond anymore.
It's not.
It's Eric out in the world.
It's Eric out
doing
in the
thing.
world. I mean, he's just moving. He's doing it moving.
Yeah.
And it's just exciting. And the two gentlemen that you're going to get a chance to sit down with tonight, they're doing it moving too.
That's right.
They found things that they're very passionate about. And you guys have heard at least LeVon talk about what he's doing. He's excited about his work, and I'm not going to spoil that for him to tell you. But you're talking with some young men who are just extraordinary young men who have endured a war zone for most of their lives. They have not only survived, they are thriving, and they both are committed and excited about the kinds of things and opportunities that they've had access to. What they have in front of them is limitless, and I think for the first time they know it. And that's a pretty exciting feeling.
That is very, very exciting.
You said words that, and from our last, so this is DeVone's second visit to the show, and we asked him to bring some of his guys back with him, and that's why he's here. But when we talked last time, the mirroring between what you saw and did and what I've done in Afghanistan and Iraq,
Right.
Where you're trying to find community.
Right.
And when you say they are in a war zone, it is absolutely true. Go back and listen to the other episode of DeVone. We'll put a link up on it when we post the show up. But these guys are the same tools I'm using, the same things I have to do it, the same things you guys and your guys' program are doing.
That's right.
It's incredible that you've built a family around these guys, and your uncles, your mentors, your all these great things. But it's also a government program.
Yeah, I mean, it's always amazes me when you read this evaluation or this paper that's been done where you got these third party folks coming in and they're interviewing so many fellows, they're talking to staff, And when you hear these young men characterize the city of Richmond, city
Yes.
government, Office of Neighborhood Safety as a family. That's family.
Yeah.
And it says so much. I mean, it goes, wow, government characterizes family. Yeah, that's beautiful in itself. But for a young man to say it's family in the way in which he says it, that suggests or communicates, more than suggests, communicates that family is valuable.
It's not the mayor saying family either. It's a dude on the streets.
That's right. Family.
Yeah.
And family is important.
Right.
And that's what I've been longing for.
Sure.
That's what I've been, dying for.
Right.
I've been dying for family.
And
Yes.
the thing is, you're absolutely right. Allegiances that lead to that kind of violence are just young men reaching out for some semblance of family. And that's where they unfortunately find it.
Yeah.
And all that you have done in this program, if we could be so arrogant as to cook it down to the kernel, is that you've replaced their longing for family from being out on the street to being somewhere more healthy.
Yeah.
Where aspirations are a lot different, are a lot more fulfilling, and where they can actually understand their potential,
Yeah.
and then reach it.
Yeah. That's right. That's right. Let me tell you, before we started this introductions, I asked you guys to talk about your show with LeVon and the team and Renel. Why? Well, one, they need context. But there's something else important about that. You guys have interviewed some pretty extraordinary people.
We're
And
doing
tonight,
that right now.
You're doing it.
Exactly.
Right? Tonight you're doing it. And Byron Pitts, since we talked last, Byron Pitts of ABC Nightline.
Whose piece was terrific.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate that, guys. I still don't think that anyone has put a piece out there like you guys have.
Oh,
so
we appreciate that.
To break it down, show does they thing. So,
Yeah.
but Byron and Megan and folks there that produced it did a good job. But Byron came and spent some time with us, and he's a great spirited guy. I asked him, I said, would you let these young men know? Because they don't know who Byron Pitts is. They don't know him from 60 Minutes like we do. Or,
Right.
Sure.
And seen the interviews and the people he's interviewed like we have. And so I said, why don't you tell the guys who you are? And he looked at me. I said, they need to know what you've done. And he goes, oh, well, I've interviewed Mandela. I've interviewed Michael Jordan. I've interviewed LeBron James. I've interviewed Kobe. Went through all these sports. And then he said, I've interviewed every president since Carter, Muhammad Ali, and all these foreign folks. And then he said, because he got it. He got where he needed to go.
Uh-huh.
And I'm here this week to interview you. And let me tell you, man, I watched these young men kind of look at each other like,
Yeah.
this dude,
That just happened.
that just happened, right? And again, I want to say to you all, one, thank you for, first and foremost, giving me the opportunity to come up some time ago and talk about work that I really believe in, that is really a part of who I am and what I'm all about. And I believe that it is making a difference, and I believe it's a game changer. And so I'm grateful for you all for giving me a platform to talk about it. But more than anything, I think I'm probably more excited today for you all and your interest and even your commitment to giving a platform to share these men and their stories, both the team of neighborhood change agents, but also these young men who have been fellows, to your audience and to the world. So I really do. I tell you, I can't thank you enough, and I really appreciate you both for that.
Oh man, thanks.
Yeah, when we had you over last time, we were so excited that you would talk with us because we really were interested in your work. And then you showed up and you gave us what ended up being a 2-part show.
Yeah.
Because we said, if you could just, DeVone, if you could just give us an hour,
Yeah.
we sure would appreciate
Yeah.
it. By the time we were done,
Yeah.
we had 2 hours
Yeah, it was a
worth.
trip, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when you left, okay, thank you, DeVone. See you later. And you got in your car and pulled away. We sat back down at the table and we just looked at each other like, what just happened in here?
Yeah.
We bottled some magic tonight.
Yeah.
And it was something that for us, we are planning right now a little reel for a guy who has meant a lot to me in my life because I grew up as a musician.
Yeah.
And there's a gentleman out there named Michael Carabello who is not yet committed to our show, but he's a rock and roll Hall of Famer. He played Woodstock. He was on the original Santana album.
Wow.
And was just a part of the building blocks of music and communication as I learned them. So this gentleman who I've never met means an awful lot to me.
Yeah.
And our contact with him said, listen, he doesn't, I don't want to send him a link or anything like that. Doesn't have email. He's old school.
Yeah.
Can you just put something on a CD that he can listen to so that he can hear what your show is about? And when we heard that, Pete said, yeah, let's put together something. And he looked at me. This happened last night. He said, what do you think's our best show? And without hesitation, I said, DeVone.
Oh, wow.
And he said, I was afraid you were going to say that. He just stole my answer.
Wow. Wow.
And we've been very fortunate to have some fascinating guests, some of our, childhood heroes and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
But their work, as much as it means things to us culturally and spiritually, your work means something to us that has to do with the practicality of keeping young men alive in the world.
Right on.
And that's special.
Well, you guys and your audience are in for a treat this evening.
Terrific.
And so let's not waste any more time.
All right.
Let's get it moving.
So with us this evening, we have Renel and LeVon, who are graduates of the program. We've had the honor of conversations with DeVone, but what we really wanted to do tonight was to talk with you two about actually going through the program and what it was like to, first of all, be pitched this wild idea and then figure it out and decide, make a decision about doing it, and then what it was like to embark on this journey, because it couldn't have been easy. I mean, it had to be something completely foreign to what you were used to. Completely. So let's start with what you were used to. How old were you at the time?
I was 23, 24.
23, 24.
Just got out of incarceration.
Okay. What did that have to do with, how many times had you been incarcerated, and what was that just you finishing your first stretch?
No, not my first one. It was probably
just another one.
About the fourth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was there anything about the fourth one that made you go, no, I'm not going back there. I don't want to go back there?
Well, I thought that, but I had some mishaps when I was going through the program. End up going back, doing a couple violations.
Yeah.
But when I was in there on that fourth one, though, it was sinking in like, dude, you got to get it together.
Yeah.
On the second one, were you thinking the same thing? Like, because everybody gets out and goes, I'm never going back, and yet everybody around you has been back.
Yeah, you say it sometimes. It's about leaving your environment.
Yeah.
So when you go back to the same environment, it's kind of like all you know.
Right.
So you tend to start doing the same stuff that you was doing, but you catch yourself trying to do it a little bit sneakier. But then you go back to jail and
but
you
it's
find
what you know.
Yes.
So that's what you do.
Exactly.
Before we get into this, I want you to know that, I appreciate you coming into my house. I appreciate you sitting down with us. I appreciate your candor about this subject, because you're sharing a very, very personal story with us. And I don't want you to get the feeling that, you have to hold anything back. If there's something you choose not to share, that's fine too. But what I know our audience is going to experience from you, somebody out there is going to be going through what you went through, and maybe hear your voice, that's going in his head. And maybe it's the thing that makes him realize, or the other thing is that maybe somebody out there in our audience who doesn't understand the world that you had to endure, and that at the time was the only thing you knew, doesn't understand that point of view, doesn't understand that, hey, man, it's not that you want to go back. You're just doing what everybody has a training in life from how you come up.
Yeah.
And sometimes that training teaches you some lessons that are great. Sometimes it teaches you some lessons that you have to shed. And in your cases, you had your own individual lessons that at some point you had to choose to break away from.
Yes.
So, I don't want you to feel like, man, this dude let me in his house. And I don't want to say the wrong thing because I'm not, man, I'm, we're here.
We want you. Let me just say this too. We just got back from LA, and when we were in LA, and we love all of our guests, like we really get into it, but we specifically knew we wanted to get back for this show. We talked to two guys that have made a ton of money making movies. The guy that invented the Final Destination movies. Talked to him. We talked to the guy that makes all like the Sharknado. We went to go see that. It didn't work. He had a family thing, so we didn't talk to him, but we were going to talk to him. We talked to a guy that was in Christmas Story, that movie. Yeah. These people that have like Hollywood lives, and they're really fantastic, and they have these great stories. But I'm going to be honest and say, I've been looking forward to this show, to talking to you guys for months. And one of the things that breaks my heart, and we talked about it briefly earlier, we're sitting in Vallejo right now, and yesterday a kid walks into a liquor store and didn't leave alive, That hurts me right to my soul because he's, that happens 5 minutes from here. I just hope that someone can hear
5 minutes from here, man.
Literally.
It's just like what you guys
on a bicycle,
had to endure the whole time.
Yeah.
And the only thing, stop me if I'm wrong, is that when you hear about that, you think somebody made a choice. It's a choice that you guys stopped making, but it's a choice that anybody could have been capable of making. You guys could have been capable of making it a couple years ago.
And still can be capable of making it.
Yeah.
It's about the decisions that you make.
So I'm going to echo Pete's point because, Sharknado dude, I've been looking forward to talking to that dude. He's got 150 movies in his catalog. He's got a whole studio that he built with his hands from the beginning. He had a family tragedy, couldn't make our appointment yesterday, and then his assistant said he's free tomorrow. That would have been today. And we said, we're not free tomorrow. Yeah. So we'll have to go back and get him. We'll go back and get him, though.
It's true, though.
Let's talk about the initial pitch, because you are living the lives that you know how to live. And let's face it, at that life, somebody else from outside would look and go, well, you just came from being incarcerated. That's terrible. You're not successful. But in that life, you were stars. Really?
You were journeyman.
Right?
Yep. You guys had gone to school. You'd gotten better each time, right?
Yeah.
So you felt yourself getting sneakier. You felt yourself in that world, you were veterans. Now, here's a guy in the form of DeVone, or I don't know if it was DeVone or Sam or who talked with you initially.
All of them.
All of them. But they had a pitch. And that pitch was, I want to help you change. What happens? What goes on in your head? And I know it's gradual. I know it wasn't one day everything changed.
Yeah, what is it?
But one day it started.
When you walk in that room to get the pitch, what did you guys see? What did you feel?
Police.
Me too. I felt that too. I was thinking the same. I was hearing about it while I was still incarcerated. So I was hearing about the program stuff, and I'm like, what is he doing?
Yeah.
And I'm just like, hell no, I ain't going over there.
It was a program.
Then,
right?
But Sam was involved, so I knew, like, damn, they can't be the police. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I'm like, okay, I know he ain't with that shit, so.
Yeah.
And then I just felt more comfortable because of my relationship with him.
So you could talk to him.
Yeah.
And he had credibility. He wasn't going to, because look, it's us and them. You're out there just trying to survive, and they're coming at you with some kind of thing, but he's not one of them.
Yeah. He's one of us.
Yeah.
But you don't know that because you see the work that they're doing, and you see, for me, it was a little different because I didn't know nobody. I knew the person that told me about the program. I knew him, and I knew his old lifestyle. But then as I got older, his lifestyle, was getting thrown around and getting tossed under the, he was getting the bad end of the stick, saying, oh, he's he's telling and all that. So I had to think with my own head and listen to what they had to say and make my own decision.
You're talking about somebody else who was in the program.
A peacemaker.
Okay. And so as a peacemaker, what's the role of a peacemaker?
Kind of like a big brother.
Okay.
Somebody you could go to, and somebody who's going to constantly check on you. And
he was getting hated.
Yeah, he was getting real hated.
Wow.
Real hated. And it's a crazy part about it, he's a good friend of my family.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like a love-hate thing at first.
Yeah. Why was he getting hated?
I mean, you got to understand the way people portray it is that they just gave information to the police. I mean, the police gave them information.
Right.
Of the most violent people here. So it's like, how are you guys able to get that type of information?
If you're not the police.
If you're not the police.
Right.
So it's like a mind game with you. Like, are they the police or what?
Hey, this is John Leon Guerrero.
Hey, and this is Pete Turner.
And if you like the show,
do us a favor.
Yeah, share it.
That's the biggest thing, honestly.
All your social media outlets, all your friends, let them know the ones that you like.
Yeah. I mean, we make this show for you guys. If you think it's great, say so. Say so by sharing it. Say so by putting a comment in after the show.
Also, if you go to iTunes or Stitcher or wherever you listen to podcasts, give us a rating. Give us a review. If you think the show is great, please give us 5 stars and say so. And if you think the show really sucks, please give us 5 stars and say so.
Because, heck, we're listening.
That's right.
You can't be more approachable than us. We want to make the show better. If there's something that we're missing, let us know. Yeah, that really is how you help us.
That's right. Tell us all about it. Thanks for listening.
And now back to the show.
Yeah, it's hard to believe them.
Hard to believe.
Yeah.
Real hard to believe.
Yeah, I can see that. That's a normal response. Something totally new comes in your neighborhood and it sounds too good to be true. Well, shit, that ain't true.
Yeah.
You know? The police are, you're trying to master your craft of being out of jail.
Yeah.
And here are guys that you know are police. I would think they were police. I would think I was police if I walked around and be like, I'm not police. Be like, I can't say that. Because you're going to think I'm police. I get it. Mm-hmm. So you have this problem, this paradox where you're like, because you know this guy, right?
Yes.
Okay. So you know he's not police, but he's got to be police. And you're trying to make your own decision. How the heck do you get to the point where you're like, let's give it a shot?
Well, when I got out, he came to my grandma's house and he sat down, talked to me, gave a rundown. And then he told me we was going to meet the man, and it was DeVone. His pitch basically sold it. Like,
he's a pretty persuasive dude.
Yeah. The way he talked, the way he came off to you was like, it was like, man, like, if I had that in my life since I've been born, maybe I wouldn't have been different.
Yeah, maybe things would be a little bit different.
Maybe things would be different.
Hey, man, I had a strong father in my life, strong family upbringing. When I met DeVone, I thought, man, I wish I had the dude in my life.
Man.
You know what I mean? Just as something.
Yeah. Man.
He got something magical.
And it's not for him.
Yeah, it's not for him.
It's not for him.
Now, with your story, LeVon,
mm-hmm.
You said yours was different. You had a relationship with Sam.
Yeah.
And you knew that you could trust him.
Yeah.
Did he come to you at a point where you knew you were ready to make a change, or did he somehow persuade you?
No, well, I was hearing about the stuff he was doing while I was in prison.
Uh-huh.
I was gone for 5 years, so I was sitting and watching some of my homeboys and people I know from my neighborhood or whatnot be involved with the program and hearing what they had to say. And then when I came home, I went straight to Sam and was like, heard people
help me out.
Y'all paying people around here. What's going on? Can I get my ends? You feel me?
Uh-huh.
and let me get my issue.
Right.
Then that's how it started.
So the pay was attractive.
Of course.
Now, the thing that everybody thinks out there, because the headlines say it, is that, DeVone is out here paying shooters to not shoot. But that wasn't it.
Nah.
What he was doing was
way deeper than that.
Right. Yeah, way deeper.
It's way deeper than that.
So if I can break it down to its most basic form, and then please elaborate for us. But what he's doing is really just helping you out with some cash while you reach these milestones so that life doesn't get in the way and make you go do something else.
Basically.
Okay. So tell us some of your personal milestones that you made on your list. What did you have to get done to get yourself in a place where, because man, you came to my house today, walked in, we had a meal, we watched the game a little bit. You are both just put together young men doing what everybody's supposed to do.
Talking about work.
Yeah.
Where you're going next. Work, you know?
Yeah, it was a lot of milestones, man. First, I had to get over the whole back and forth jail thing.
Yeah.
That was the tough
Stay
part.
out.
Stay out.
That was your first objective.
Kind of like separate yourself from the people that you normally hang with.
Uh-huh.
Did you know how to stay out of jail, though? I mean, I know everybody knows to stay away from your friends, but, you know, you don't know how to do that, do you?
To be honest, when you got that target on your back and you're already known, like, I just now, I could say, just now really I'm able to just, you know, see the police, you know, a couple of them wave, a couple of them give me a little smirk.
But not like it used to be.
But not like it used to be. I'm talking about pulled over every day.
Yeah. Just can't even see them.
Can't even see them. Constantly pulling me over. Now it's like they see me.
You're all right.
It's like, you know, I get the high. I was like, wow, like, that's amazing. Like, seriously, amazing. I was like, man, I actually sit on the corner in Richmond, and if I see a police, like, I'm able to have a conversation, and like,
you don't have to go away.
Yeah, and on top of that, I'm so mature with myself and know myself. I don't even care who sees me.
Yeah.
'Cause it's like, I know what's going on with me.
Right.
So if you see me talking to a police, I don't care what you go back and say.
Yeah, that's somebody else's
So
drama.
you've actually got it with two sides where, like, your homeboys can see you and they're not going to worry about you talking to the police because of what you're doing, or at least you're not worried about them.
Well, I'm not worried about them, but you know, you get the jokes.
You still have to, yeah.
And you know, then you know, if I get picked up or if Sam come see me somewhere where I'm getting my hair cut and he pull up on me, I get the, you mean the police? You're getting that,
right.
You know, just the guy thing, the macho thing, saying whatever they say, little joke here and there. But sometimes it tends to get to me, not get to me to where I want to do something, but it's like, why talk bad about somebody who's trying to do good for a person?
That's the maturity talking right there.
That's the maturity talking.
Because you can't see your way to that until you reach a certain point with yourself.
Exactly. And a lot of people that I know right now are going to be stuck in the same place that they've been in for the past 15 years because of the way they think.
That's the root of recidivism.
Yeah.
That's why people go back.
Exactly.
Because they can't break that.
It's
cycle.
two-sided because you got your community around you, right? That okay, even if they're on your side, they're still going to let you know they notice you talking to the police, right? They're still going to say that.
Still going to say it.
But the police are also going to be like, I see you. You know? And they might get cool with you and everything else.
Oh, but you still got that big,
right.
You still got that big eye on your back because they're waiting for you to mess up.
Yes. Yeah. I was going to say one thing. And they'll come right back and all that waving will go away. And they're supposed to. They're supposed to try to protect.
I mean, that's their job.
But you do have to satisfy two worlds, and a lot of times it takes that maturity that sounds like you're talking about
it does.
To be able to say, I don't have to do anything for them. I got to focus on me, and then let them see that action.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's basically what it boils down to.
Yeah.
You got to not think for everybody else. You got to start putting yourself first instead of worrying about what everybody think about you. You know, because ain't none of them gonna write no letters or send no pictures to you.
No money, no nothing.
No nothing. Only people gonna be there is the people that love you.
Yeah.
That's funny that you say that because that's how, man, I'm down for mine. That's my, but when you go in alone.
You go in alone. You get out alone. You get sentenced alone.
Yeah.
All that. Unless you got a co-defendant.
Right.
You in there on your own, man.
Man,
9 times out of 10.
And once you get in there, you're on your own anyway.
You're on your own.
So LeVon, what was on your list? We got one item on your list, so we're gonna get back to your list for now. But what was on your list?
Basically, what happened with me is I came with a goal. Like the job that I have now is my first job I ever had. I ain't never had another job.
Really?
Yeah, I've been doing whatever since I was
Tell
a
our
kid.
listeners what you're up to, man.
Well, I'm a heavy equipment operator with the operating engineers.
And he's not kidding.
No.
Yeah.
And I've seen pictures. He's operating heavy equipment.
Yes.
So when you see earth moved, when you see a house that goes up in a place where a house could not previously have gone, it's because LeVon moved the earth.
Yeah. Or he jammed more earth into that hole. He's like, you need a pile? You need a pile driven? 100 feet down?
Yeah.
Get out of my way.
Yep.
Put your hard hat on. Get out of my way.
That was your first job?
It's my first job I ever had.
Man, that is crazy.
The labor you have to do to get that journeyman tag to be able to go move that stuff.
That's a serious gig.
You've got to do hard work that you're moving. It's heavy equipment. Everything that supports that heavy equipment is heavy.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, right, it's covered in grease. You come home and your mom's like, you've ruined the washing machine. Because it's hard work to get. So it's not just, I drive big stuff around, but.
How long have you been doing it?
Since I came home. I came home on May 4th, 2012, and I've been working since May 21st.
Wow.
2012.
At it. How old are you?
Good for you.
28.
28. Man. So let's talk about your list, because maybe I've got this wrong, but for me, it was the biggest thing that hit me was that, when you're out there and you keep going back, you keep getting sucked back into your neighborhood, you keep getting sucked back into jail, you keep doing the things you've always been doing. For me, a lot of times when I'm just in a rut, I need to sit down and I need to plan my way out of that rut, whatever it is. So when you began planning your way out of your rut, what were the things on your plan? I mean, you just wanted to work, it sounds like.
Yeah, basically. Well, I knew, my stepdad was involved with the heavy equipment, and then Sam was involved with the heavy equipment.
Okay.
So that's where I got the idea.
You saw a path.
Yeah, and then my stepdad, he not with my mom no more, but he's a homeowner, got multiple vehicles, he got dope, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, shit, that's the way to go, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They making $40 an hour, why wouldn't I?
Right.
So
why wouldn't you?
yeah.
So, okay, you had a short list, but it was all business.
Yeah, I came with a plan, man. I had a plan, and people was like, oh, you gonna get out, youngster, they ain't gonna have no job for you. You just, everybody talking about what you're not gonna do. And when you're in prison, all you doing is learning how to be a better criminal.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you sitting in there soaking it up, getting all these games from these OGs and your cellies and whatnot, and they just telling you the wrong shit. Some of them is, like 90% of them is telling you the wrong shit. The ones that got 40, 50 years left to do on their sentence, those the ones that's telling you, look, youngsters, this ain't what you want.
Right.
You know what I mean? I got caught with 2 grams and I got 30 years. When I heard that story, it was a LA dude named Fat Dog. 30 years for 2 grams of cocaine.
Man.
That right there made me say, man, I ain't selling this shit no more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm cool. I'm done with that.
Wow.
2 grams, 30 years, man.
That's deep.
Yeah.
That is deep. How about you, Renel? When you started to formulate this plan, because LeVon, he had a path, he had a plan. He knew what he needed to get to. So that's almost like a head start. So, where were you? What was on your list besides I got to stay out? I can't be in here anymore.
To be honest, man, it was just staying alive, really.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Cause I was in it deep.
Yeah.
And that was the hardest thing, was trying to transform into this person when you still got this guy that's right here.
Yeah.
That everybody has a problem with.
Right.
So my main focus was just trying to get out and change while still
having to navigate where you live.
Where I live and be able to feel comfortable.
Yeah. Wow. Man, that's heavy because sitting here with you, and I wouldn't have looked twice at either one of you. I mean, now, it's easy to say. Back then, I'm sure you had a look in your eye that would have been menacing, and I would have not try to be around you so much.
That's crazy because DeVone said when he first heard about me, he thought I was like 6'5",
Uh-huh.
some big guy
Right.
that just come in.
A
and
big
was
menace.
Like, then he I even caught it when I first seen him. He was like, he looked at me like, you?
Wow.
And I was like, yeah, me.
Yeah.
Here's what you got.
Wow. So your objectives were really, you didn't have a long list of stuff. It was really simple things that had complicated answers.
Complicated
That's
answers.
true for both of you, right? 'Cause everybody says, I'm going to get work. I'm going to keep out of trouble. Everybody says that,
Yeah.
but
It's easier said than it is done.
Yeah.
You got influences out there. And
A
you
lot
got
of them.
people out there just like, his situation. It's hard to try to do the right thing when motherfuckers trying to kill you.
Yeah.
It's like,
You're trying to stay
it
alive.
just don't
Trying to stay alive.
it don't match.
Yeah.
It don't mix together. Like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go to church, I'm gonna do this, but he over here waiting outside the church for you with a stick. It ain't gonna work.
Yeah.
It ain't gonna work.
Man, see, that's what I'm talking about. People don't understand that challenge.
And you get pulled back in.
People don't understand how that environment will be relentless. Won't let you go.
It's like you trapped forever, man. Like, regardless of what you're doing, like, you still gotta remember that you had that past.
Yeah.
And that's the cold part about it. Even though you're trying to do right, you still got so many people that's stuck in their ways that in their head, they already made up their mind. I'm never going to go that way. This is what I am. This is what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
So just because he going to work and not being around all this violence no more doesn't mean when I catch him, I'm going to give him a pass. I'm going to treat him any different because it's still the same dude that I knew 20 years ago.
I'm still mad about that old shit.
He's just doing something different.
Right.
But I know if I do something to him, a lot of people going to hurt.
Yeah.
And that's the joy that some people get.
Yep.
It's like, okay, I could be happy if I get him and everybody else mad.
Damn.
I'm happy.
Yeah.
So it's
people,
hard, man.
They thrive off seeing other people.
It's
in
just
pain.
like hate.
Yeah.
It's just like hate, man. Just like hate.
So at what point did you, in your own personal path, I'm asking each of you, where did you start to say, no, I'm making progress now? Was there a point where you were able to look back at the work that you had recently accomplished and said, I'm starting to pull away? I mean, you can't, like you said, you can't ever forget and you can't ever take it for granted. But there has to be at some point because you two now, not having known you back then, clearly you are changed.
My encounter was I ended up working for the city of Richmond.
Uh-huh.
So the crazy part about it, like when union stuff come around,
Yeah.
all the police come.
Okay.
So I was in the union meeting one day
Uh-huh.
and the whole gang unit was in there and they were just looking at me and I was looking at them and
You might be in the wrong meeting.
yeah, and I'm texting Sam like the whole gang unit here. And he's like, so you're at work?
Yeah.
I'm like, that's crazy. I'm like, I am at work. And it was just like they just kept looking at me and I was just like sitting there like I just had a smile on my face like, man, I'm sitting here in a union meeting with these guys.
Right.
Like that's a
changed.
big step.
You made a big step.
That's a big step.
Did
And
any of them engage you after that?
they didn't engage me, but it was a couple comments that was said.
Yeah.
I mean, a couple remarks.
Yeah.
Typical, one of the
They got
not
their
so
ball
cool-
breakers over
yeah,
there too.
Not so cool
Right.
police officer, he had to,
Had to say something, open his mouth.
something. Yeah, and I just, the old me probably would have, not flipped out on him just to where.
Something to let him know.
Yeah, I would have said something, but I text Sam and I was just like, like he just said something outrageous. He was like, you know what, just leave it alone, just smile in his face, and that's all I did was just like, you know what, whatever.
You know what happened then, and I'm not sure that you perceived it as that emotionally at the time, but that's when you know really who's who.
And the crazy part
That's
about
when you know
it,
which one of us really got a wise ass mouth.
and the thing that kills me, it was a black guy.
Uh huh.
Mm-hmm.
Man.
That's what I mean, I'm nowhere near race. It's just
You would think that he would get behind you a little bit.
It hurts me. It's like it was 5 white guys and the black guy.
He had to say
and
something.
you're the only one that say something.
Man.
It doesn't make no sense.
Yeah.
It makes no sense at all.
Well, what does make sense, though, was that you had your contact with Sam right then. I mean, because I think one of the things about the program that creates the small victories that lead to the bigger victories is that constant contact. You're in a challenge situation right there where, man, you're, like you said, the old you would have reacted a little different. You had somebody you could reach out to and say, hey, man, let me first just throw the absurdity of this situation out at you so I'm not alone. Mm-hmm. And that's most of it, really, is that when you're a young man in your life, you try not to be alone. You're trying to figure it out, navigate it. It helps to not be alone. And when you're out on the street, a lot of that time that you're trying to figure out, you reach out to somebody. It's the wrong somebody.
Sometimes, yeah.
You know what I mean?
See how you, yep.
So that one time you want to reach out to somebody, you had to write somebody. You know what I mean? In the form of Sam.
Oh, yeah.
He was there to just be right and go, okay, man, you know, you're going to encounter this. Not going to be the last time.
No, definitely not.
But, you know, you had somebody.
Somebody to give you some good advice, not like
right.
What he said, man. Tell that motherfucker, you know what I mean. Yeah. Tell him something, you know, cuss him out, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
Am I wrong thinking you have to do that? Like you can't allow weakness to creep in. Here's what I know: I've been shot at too, not like you guys, but same kind of thing. Where if you let the enemy know that you're not paying attention, they'll come.
They're gonna take advantage.
They're gonna take a crack.
They're gonna take advantage, of course.
And so when they start shooting back at us, it's our response has to be heavier than theirs. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. When you don't have a Sam to reach down and text to, that could be game over. That could be
leave yourself open for some wrong
you could
decisions.
have that job. I've got this path to get this job. I have the job. I'm in the union hall, but fuck that guy. You know, I'm here working, and you don't have a Sam to say, "Let that go." That's not worth the time.
Yeah, it's easily to have a Brad or somebody to tell you, go tell that guy to fuck off himself.
Right. He needed to be told that, as much as I hate to say it.
And like, don't get me wrong, like Sam, you know, made a joke out of it because you got to laugh about it at the end of the day.
That's all you could do.
So he'll make a joke about it and get you to laugh just to, you know, just to loosen you up, man, because you be all uptight. You want to say something frustrated, and then here comes Sam with a little joke.
Right.
And then you're like, man, this is not the time to be joking.
Yeah.
But then you like,
it is.
Man, you know what? Yeah, it is. I just started laughing like, man, get out of here, man. I'm not trying to be like that right now.
Right.
And then it's like, you know what? Like, that's what I need.
Yep.
I need
just
that.
let the air out a little bit.
Yep. That's it.
Yeah.
But
how about
sends
you,
a message
LeVon?
back
Did you
to
have
them
a
too,
moment
though.
like that?
Well, not really. Not really like that. I've been having a little bit of somewhat self-control a little bit better since I was in prison for so long. That shit just taught me.
5 years, man.
I was 18. I went in there butt naked face. You know what I mean? My partners was calling me booty butt naked face. That's how young I was looking. You know what I mean? I'm in there I just got guided through, you know, I was blessed enough to have individuals that have been in prison 2, 3, 4 times, and they was telling me like, bro, this ain't what you want to do. You know what I mean? I still got 20 years.
You actually
left.
went in there and thank God had some good advice.
That's basically what it is. The cats that I surrounded myself around they was about their business and they was about doing their time and going home. They wasn't in there with, you know, we had some run-ins where we had foolish stuff going on, but in my mind, I knew that I didn't want to go back there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I knew that I didn't want to be sleeping on this little ass room for another 5 years. You know what I mean? And a federal violation is you're going to be in there for some years if you violate. So I discharged from parole early, everything. You know what I mean? I did everything I was supposed to do, and by the grace of God, I ain't never went back. And I don't plan on going back. So that's why I've been making the moves that I had my mindset on doing something different. I already did everything, you know what I mean? Everything you could do, selling drugs, pimping, robbing, everything. And now I never tried working, so why not? Why not?
You don't
Give it
look
a
like
shot.
you're going back, man. I have to say,
Yeah.
you don't look like you're going back.
You got too good of a thing going now.
Yeah.
I mean, even if it's just incremental little steps, you know, you didn't have that big moment. You're a mile away from where you were.
Yeah,
you know?
I ain't looking back. It feel good to be riding in the car, blowing weed, just looking in the rear view. You feel me? And not have to worry about the police. I got my weed card. Here you go.
Yeah.
You feel me? You pull me over. It's
Legit.
nothing. Yeah, I'm all good. I'm good. You can't do nothing to me.
Let me ask you something about the lifestyle, because one of the things that I think our listeners can be like, well, these two somehow found their way out of this lifestyle because, you know, there's a lot of temptation out there. When you were, you know, balling, were you making a lot of money?
I wasn't. I was getting probably I'm getting more money now because I see the money.
Right,
Then,
right.
when you getting it, you just spending.
Right.
You just think you balling.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Ball for the moment, huh?
Yeah, you think you balling.
That's the illusion.
That's
That's
what it
the
is.
illusion. And
It's-
a lot of people don't understand that, you know what, when you hunker down and you actually start going to work, no matter what you do, you know, whether you're slinging, whether you're pimping, whether you're doing whatever it's work. It's
It is.
work.
It is, definitely.
It's work, but easy come, easy go.
Right. And that's the thing that people don't see. Like, well, if I do that work, I'll be making all this money. You don't come home with anything.
Yeah, you don't come home with anything, and there's consequences that come on with that.
Right.
See, when you go to work and do a 9 to 5, a real 9 to 5,
Yeah.
there's no jail consequences
They
with
can't
that.
take
Right.
They can't take
it from you.
unless you're doing some type of tax fraud or whatever you got going on
Right.
with
Yeah, but
your
you talk about
taxes or
work.
whatever.
Yeah.
But you know, when you're selling dope or doing everything else, it's a
Like
consequence
everything
that come
can go
with
away at any moment. And
It-
it's consequences that
just
are
like
measured
that.
in years.
that. Years.
Yeah.
People don't understand what happens to years of a young life either. And I think one of the things, LeVon, that you realized going in at 18 and that you realized, Renel, going in again and again is that, you know, you run out of time.
Man.
And very suddenly you're not a young man anymore where you can't go do, I mean, you guys are working and you are doing work that requires a start in your youth. You can't come out and be no heavy equipment operator when you start at 55. That's not how it works.
Yeah, you can't.
You know, you have to have the momentum. By the time you are 55 years old, you
I'm
know,
gonna be retiring.
right, you're going to have those years behind you. And if you can't have those years behind you because you had to be behind bars in those years, you know, what do you do then? You know, you can't be retired from that. So here you are, man. I'm just really glad for both of you that you saw your way through the, you know, to a path, that you had the wherewithal to understand what that was. And I hope that, you know, you continue in your work to just be the example that allows somebody else to see, you know, what you saw when you were able to go, man, I see people out there and they're doing better.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you saw that. And what would you say to listeners out there who might be somewhat in the shoes that you were in back then, where you could say, hey, man, you know, is there anything motivational you might say to somebody that might help them to see the light that you saw?
Just tell them, man, just, you know, at the end of the day, you got to think about yourself. Like, what do you want out your life? Do you want to be sleeping and hanging with men every day of the or do you want to be out, eat when you want to,
Do what you want.
do what you want to do, or like I said, sit there with men 365 days out the year?
Isn't it a trip that like having the straight lifestyle where you go to work every day, you got a 9-to-5 grind that you do, and it's like, man, I'm not trying to go to work and have somebody tell me what to do. And that's what you think of it.
I tell them like this: you gonna go to work and listen to them tell you what to do, or you gonna be listening to a CO tell you what to do?
Yeah.
Just like that.
Exactly.
Which one pays better?
Yeah, which one you like
Exactly. And the CO don't pay you
at all?
Yeah. What
Man.
responsibility do you guys feel to the guys who come up in Richmond next? You know, the the next fellows, the guys that are on the fence that maybe need to become like, do you guys, I know you feel a responsibility, but how do you intend to pay that forward?
For me, I try to introduce everybody to the union that I'm in. Try to get them, either in the labor union or the operating engineers, because this is my way out. I found something that I'm good at.
Yeah.
I didn't even know I was going to be good at it. I didn't, at first I was like, damn, I don't want to be dirty every day. But then I'm like, shit, if I saw them checks, it changed my whole perspective. You know what I mean?
I'll buy some soap.
Legal money, and it's coming in, and it's coming in fast every Friday, and it's nice checks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm just sitting there like, I think that because money is what motivates everybody.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
It starts with being able to make a living.
That's what it started. That's how you start selling crack at 15, because you can't get a job at Walmart at 15. You know what I mean? You gotta go through too much. You know what I mean? It's easy to get a bundle, so that's how I go. You know what I mean? I'm gonna come tell you, look, I'm making $1,000 a week. Youngster, check this out. What? How you get that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That right there is going to get somebody to be like, man, I might check that out. What's the website? And I tell them the website, and they go on it, and I tell you all you need to do is, certain little stuff, and you can get in, bro.
Yeah.
It's if you don't never tell somebody that something is wrong, they ain't going to never know it's wrong.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Nobody never told us that selling drugs and all this shit was wrong, because this is what we saw every day.
Right.
Nobody
it was just a
didn't
reality.
say, nobody said this was wrong.
You're just trying to eat.
You just seeing you just doing what the people you seen the people who you admired growing up, people who influenced you. You just trying to be like them.
It's the street union. It's just a different union. You got to go pay your dues. You go sell crack, and later on you do the next level of the thing. But the cost is the retirement is paid for by the state of California.
Yeah, that's the cost. And then that little change don't amount to all those years. Because if you work for all those years, that little change you was getting, that becomes crumbs. If you worked through your 10-year sentence that you had, you would have had more money in those 10 years than the 6 months you was balling.
That's true.
Wow. So the things that look like weakness, man, look how early he wakes up to go to work. He got a job. He got some dude waving his finger at him, telling him what to do. Turns out those things create the strength in your life that allows you to do what you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And it takes the strength to be able to think for yourself to get there.
That's the main thing, the thinking for yourself part. Cause for me, it was like doing everything for your hood.
Yeah.
Like my hood. But it's like when I went to jail, my hood didn't send me $1.
Man.
So like the main thing is just thinking for yourself.
Wow.
Don't let everything else influence you. Don't let nobody tell you that you can't do this, you can't do that. Like you gotta just think for yourself and do what you feel is best for you. 'Cause like I said, you die by yourself, go to jail by yourself, get sentenced by yourself. I mean, you got people with you.
Right.
But at the end of
It's
the
your
day,
time.
they're on the outside. So their time, the day's still going. They
Life
still got to
goes
pay
on for
bills.
Yeah.
They still got to do everything they got to do. So you just in here.
You rotting by yourself.
Riding by yourself. 'Cause it's the same thing when you're in jail, same thing. Same routine every day. Every day. It's just like on the house. Only thing is you got somebody telling you what you can and can't do.
Every minute.
Every minute.
And you got a bedtime.
And you got a
wake
bedtime.
up time.
Right.
And a certain time you could take a shower.
and a moment of weakness or someone else's moment of weakness might cost you even more years.
There you go.
There
you go.
Just an instant, and they're glad to give you more time.
Oh,
right?
man.
Yeah.
Take your good time, all type of stuff.
Yeah.
Whatever they could do to keep you in there, to pay them dollars, to get them dollars that they get for you.
Each bed filled up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep them beds filled up.
Well, we're going to bring Sam and James in here, but man, thank you. Thank you both for coming and sharing your stories with us, dropping some wisdom on our listeners, letting everybody know that there's some challenging things out there for a young man to go through, and there's some people truly winning. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's easy to get caught up in news stories and see them and go, man, shit is bad. But you know what? Among all the bad shit that happens, there's some people really doing the work and really doing it right. and really getting it done. So thank you.
And you guys need to hear this too. I don't know if you know who Jay Moore is, but he's an actor, comedian. He was in Jerry Maguire.
He was on Saturday Night Live.
Yeah, Saturday Night Live. He's a national level entertainer. I've been texting with him, and he's floored by what you guys are doing. He's fascinated by the story. He's going to have DeVone in his show. 1 million people a week listen to his show. He does a couple things. He does a sports show too with Fox Sports, and he finds you guys fascinating. He wants to hear more about these kind of stories. So
tell him we could talk about the Cowboys on that sports show.
All right.
Definitely we could talk about the Cowboys.
Once I plug my phone in, I'm going to have you tell him. I'm going to record it and shoot it to him, you know. But, yeah, little steps. But look at that. You got Jay Moore noticing what you're doing.
I mean, you guys have had, and Jay, he's got a great platform and a terrific show. He's a great friend of our show. He gets us all kinds of good guests, too. He got us John Sally, so thank you, Jay.
Oh, you got Big Sally up there?
Man, hey. Oh, I forgot to tell you guys. So I'm a vegan because of John Sally. This will have, you know what a vegan is?
Yeah,
only eat vegetables. I only eat vegetables. Yeah. I only eat plants. I don't let something else die so I can live.
Oh, okay.
Cows, chickens, whatever. So the meatballs you guys ate, they were made out of soy and cashews and almonds. And you guys didn't eat no meat tonight.
I knew it.
You guys didn't eat no meat.
I knew it tastes like. I knew it.
So I just threw that on you. But what happened that got me there was like a lot of black men, I was borderline diabetic, and I'm only 40 something, 46, 40. You get so damn old, you don't know how old you are. I think I'm 46. I might be 47. Might be 46. But, so I was borderline diabetic, and then, my doctor that I had, changed over. I got a new doctor. Mm-hmm. So I walked in to go see my new doctor. She was young and fine. And I was like, "Oh, what's up, girl?" And she said, "Yeah, I'm looking at your chart." And I looked back at your history, and I'm looking at your numbers, not just last time, but 3 or 4 times before that. Your numbers are going up, like all your cholesterol numbers and shit. This is bad. You have to take some pills pretty soon if you don't make some changes. So I was like, all right. Damn, I wasn't going to change from my other doctor because he's a little finer. I might have to change for you. So then I was listening to John Sally, and he was talking about how he'd been eating vegetables since his rookie season because Adrian Dantley, before him, was a vegetarian and turned him onto it. And he said, man, I got 11 years out of my NBA career because I didn't eat meat, because I ate vegetables, man. I watched my nutrition. I did it right, and I got all them years and 4 rings on 3 different teams in 3 different decades. I guess the long and the short of it is, hopefully, when you guys continue your mission, that everybody who wants to pay attention to what good work you guys have done gets to see you, gets to hear about what you've done, and that you continue it, perpetuate it, because there's a lot of other younger men than you who need to hear it and need it real bad. So, again, thank you very much.
Yeah, appreciate you
guys, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you.